Hello and welcome to 5 Minute Magic from Creativity for Sale podcast, a quick fire episode sharing tips and tricks from the pages of the book of the same title. Yes, Creativity for Sale. Every week I'll be sharing 1 or 2 ideas that could give you an actionable takeaway for your creative career, your business, or just a food for thought for the weekend ahead. These tips are taken from the audiobook and you can find a link to the full version in the show notes. Today we're diving into the world of marginal gains. This term was originally coined by Sir Dave Brailsford, a former performance director of British Cycling and Team Ienos Grenadiers. However, you might be aware of this concept via James Clear, the author of Atomic Habits, who uses this concept in his uber best-selling book. In this episode, we'll discuss how the concept of marginal gains can transform your work and life, just as it did for countless athletes and entrepreneurs. You will learn a few actionable steps for making tiny, frequent improvements across your business operations. So, let's unpack the power of incremental progress and how it can build a bridge to your success.
Sir Dave Brailsford, former performance director of British Cycling, revolutionised the sport by using his theory of marginal gains. The idea is that if you break absolutely everything down into its component parts, then improve every tiny part by 1%, you will get a significant improvement when you put it all back together. In other words, the cumulative effects can be extraordinary. The concept can also allow you to improve your overall performance in work and life. Understanding that small incremental gains over time add up to big outcomes. The concept of marginal gains in the world of creativity and small business can be applied in a simple yet effective way. Just as a road cyclist, you can apply the concept to your operations and make tiny, frequent improvements across your whole range of ideas and activities as a business owner. Here are some actions to kickstart the chain reaction to cumulative benefits. Improve your messaging. Improve your branding and update your stationery. Analyze your website traffic and improve your keywords. Improve your pipeline and reach out to existing clients. Begin a personal project as a conversation starter with new audiences. Outsource your admin tasks to earmark time for your creative gains. Review your performance feedback. Speed up your workflow with automation tools. Get a mentor. Search for courses that add to your skill stack. Get up to speed on the latest technology developments. Look outside your industry for inspiration and information. Read a book on topics related to your work. Watch a TED Talk, watch a masterclass, or listen to a podcast. It might not be possible to attend to each of these ideas in an orderly fashion, and sometimes you have to troubleshoot as you see things that need improvement. However, marginal gains are not an excuse to procrastinate instead of tackling your current projects. If I'm faced with something complicated that needs my full attention, I tend to divert to something simpler like changing my email signature or planning my next website. It's more of an excuse instead of a strategic decision. On the contrary, these small improvements should be part of the workflow alongside the main schedule, not in place of it. Track your progress. If we ever meet in the future, prepare yourself that I'm going to ask you how it's all going. Whether it's in person or digitally, if we exchange a few words, I will be curious to see how my suggestions have worked out for you. And when you get asked how it's all going, only you'll know the answer to that. How well you can answer depends on whether you've been actively tracking your progress or not. In the early days, I made the mistake of not tracking my progress, beyond the knowledge that financially I'll survive for another month or year. But to keep improving, I realised I needed to be aware of the progress I was making. This is very difficult to do if we have no idea how we're doing. It's tempting to think that we'll remember the highlights and the lessons, but in the day-to-day of spinning the plates, we inevitably lose track. And when making 1% marginal gains, it can be difficult to see our small but significant improvements over time. If we don't see the results we want when we want, we can be guilty of thinking that our efforts are futile. This is a reminder that it takes time for things to take off, and progress is a long-term thing. This doesn't mean waste time thinking where you want to be in 5 years' time, as you might be in a totally different position and have a totally different mindset as a result of your actions today. It means planting your seeds and letting them grow, allowing time for disappointment, elation, heartache, progress, strife, and a plethora of other feelings. When you're running your own business, you won't have someone behind you to fall back on or push you to keep growing. The level of self-motivation required to keep progressing can become draining, but it's important to keep digging deep every time. Keep setting personal benchmarks and nudge them a bit higher every so often. Knowing that you're pushing to be the best version of yourself should motivate you, even when times are tough.